Hi, Zach. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to speak to you today.
Thank
I
you.
actually watched the film this morning and I just loved it. And something in particular that really stood out to me was the breakfast for dinner, because that's something that I've loved ever since being introduced to the idea of Brinner in Scrubs.
Yes,
So-
yes. You're right. JD and Turk are obsessed with Brenner, and I actually like Brenner in real life too. But Paul, the character, it is dogma. It is his passion.
Well, I'm curious actually on that note. What is your go-to for breakfast for dinner?
Oh man, I mean, eggs and waffles. I would love even just a bagel with lox and cream cheese and capers. You know, pancakes, anything.
All the good stuff. But of course, another thing about this film really stood out to me is that dance battle. And I am curious, how many of those moves were you bringing to the table that were actually yours there?
None really. I had to have like boot camp. I had to have like hip hop, TikTok dancing coaches and practice. We rehearsed that scene for 2 weeks. Now, a decent dancer wouldn't have had to rehearse that for 2 weeks, but we did. And it was fun. I learned a lot. I mean, I could moonwalk a little bit from a former part, but doing all that stuff we had to do was it was fun. It was a blast. I was nervous to even after we had rehearsed for 2 weeks. I was nervous to do it in front of all the audience that was at the game.
I can imagine. And to me personally, Scrubs, I would say, is the best sitcom of all time.
Wow,
So
thank you so much.
I know it might sound like hyperbole,
Are you
but
listening to the podcast?
I am. I love the
Okay,
podcast.
good, good.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, I really feel like you know your stuff when it comes to comedy, especially having starred in a series like that. So when a project like this one comes along, is there anything in particular you really look at that appeals to you as an actor?
Oh, well, I'm curious. I haven't done much family stuff. Scrubs was pretty risque, as you know, and I played Chicken Little. But other than that, I wanted to do, if I was going to do a family movie, I wanted it to be something that I, as an adult, would laugh at as well. We all know those kids' movies where parents have to like roll their eyes at how dumb something is. I wanted to do something where an adult would love it just as much as the kids sitting next to them, and they would each find different things to laugh at. And when I read this script written by Kenya Barris, who's such a talented writer, I was laughing on every page. And I said, kids are going to love this. Adults are going to love this. This is a great first family movie for me to do. So that's what really drew me to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see in the film, Paul and Zoe, they do such a great job of looking after these amazing kids. But obviously for you and Gabrielle, how did you go about sharing the challenge on set of sort of shepherding all these different, kids of all different ages?
It was, Gab has kids for real. So she was a little more the bad cop and I was the good cop because I was just playing around with them like Uncle Zach. They were like, we want to wrestle and try and bang our heads against the wall with this bucket. I'd be like, let's do it. And then Gabby had to be the one that was like, okay, everybody stop. Zach, can you please stop? Let's bring it down. Because I think I was another child.
Now, and again, with this film, it's such a great family comedy, but I love the message in there, obviously, with Paul being this dad of an interracial family. And obviously, you speak to Timon's character about what that means for Paul and things. So, was that something that really jumped off the page for you that you wanted to actually delve into something a little more serious in a film like
Yes,
this?
of course. I was very impressed that Disney and Kenya were gonna not just gloss over it. This is that conversation that we have on the front porch um, about being a Caucasian man raising an African American child, and he's the African American dad. And that scene I thought was so well written by Kenya, and I was like, good for Disney for really going at it. They're not just going to go do a happy, smiley, glossy version. They're gonna get into it a little bit. And Kenya is the perfect writer to do that. And I was just really proud to be a part of something that was going to be hilarious and smart, but also take on challenges like a disabled child and a woman suffering depression and a child's questioning her sexuality, all while being, a funny family movie.
Yeah, some amazing, really educational messages in there. And one final question for you, Zach. Obviously, we've seen reunions recently for everything from Friends to Harry Potter to The Fresh Prince. Do you think maybe the Scrubs team could get back together for something like that? And I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but a full-on actual revival of the show maybe one day?
I don't know. It is. I do get asked it every single day, even when I'm not doing a press junket. For now, we're going to stick with our podcast, Fake Doctors, Real Friends. If you're not listening, please check it out. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts. Yeah, I think one day there's so much clamoring for it that I imagine, which I'm so grateful for. I imagine there'll be some incarnation, whether it's a TV movie or a limited series or something. We'll do something.
Well, I certainly hope so. And I cannot wait for that. Cannot wait for people to check this film out. And such a pleasure to speak to you, Zach. So
thank you, man. You're so kind. Thank you.
Oh, it's just, as a fan, like I said, great to speak to you.
We should just end with this guy. He's amazing. I think no more press. I mean, how could anyone top this gentleman? Let's just get out of here. Thank you.
Zach. Cheers.